Yes, guys, it's a boy anime making a brand new series. What if Naruto had godly control over shadows? Part 1, guys. Before you guys say anything, yes, I'm gonna be finishing all the series that I'm currently doing. I'm gonna be slowing down for a while. I'm gonna be finishing all of them. Some of them are going to come to an end though. That is why I want to make sure that you have new series to follow upon. But yeah, they're gonna be finished, guys. What if Naruto was a prodigy with an unknown bloodline? Everything. So just stay in tune and yeah, enjoy. But I'm sure that you guys are gonna like this one. So just sit back, relax, and enjoy this one. And also I post a brand new series over my channel Animaking 3, my original series that is done by me. What if Naruto had the strongest Sharingan? So go ahead and check out that and enjoy, guys. And over Animaking 2 I post a brand new series as well because I finished some over there. And just like that I'm gonna be finishing some over here as well, guys. So yeah. I hope that you guys enjoy. If you do, comment down below and tell me. And I'll be posting it as soon as possible for you guys to enjoy. So yeah, let's get straight into this new episode. Big brother, a timid voice called from top of the stairs. A 4-year-old child with a blue blanket in his hands. As he rubbed his eyes with his back of his hand, as he called out for his brother. A boy that looked to be about 15 years old. He had blonde hair with black tips. As he was in a Jonin outfit, the older brother looked up and smiled. Shika, I thought you were asleep. As he walked up the stairs and took the young boy's hand. There's a monster on my bed, big brother Naruto. As Naruto kneeled down and picked him up. No monster will get you, while I'm around, Shika. Shikamaru settled his head into the crook of his older brother's neck, as his eyelids got heavy, as his shoulders slumped. Promise, he said. I promise, said Naruto. The monsters never got him, but Shikamaru never saw his big brother the next morning, or for the next 10 years to be exact. But the monsters never got him. Time skip. Shikamaru winced as he felt a slap to the back of his head. As he turned with a glare towards Ino Yamanaka. Were you even listening to a thing I said? She said to him. Yeah, something about Sasuke looking at you. As he settled his head into his hand and looked at her, as Choji snickered to himself, as he chomped on a bag of chicken flavored chips. Ino nodded as she continued to talk about her obsession with Uchiha. Shikamaru's mind couldn't help but wander to his older brother once again, and how he just disappeared off the face of the world that night. After waking up, he ran to Naruto's room to tell him about the dream that he had, but he couldn't find the older Nara there. He assumed that he was on some kind of mission and waited for him to return, but he never did. Their parents became worried, and they started to make frantic inquiries on their son. But the third had been tight-lipped about the genius, blonde Black Nara. Despite the threats Yoshino piled on, the third remained adamant that he didn't know where the blonde was. 2 years went on, and families searched high and low, as they could not get anything on Naruto's location. 5 years passed and they were devastated, as they assumed that he went on a long-term mission and he got badly injured. 8 years passed and they thought of the worst. Naruto was a genius even amongst his own clan mates, and his father trusted his capability, but not even him could stay positive after 8 years of silence. They then started to wipe memories of Naruto from their home, as they brought it to the attic, seeing the smiling face of their son in all the photos. As it wasn't helping things, it was just making everyone more sad. Seeing him and knowing that he was not here was terrible. And just like that, 10 years went past. And Shikamaru was the only one trying to find a trace of his brother. It has been 10 years since his brother went missing. It was like he just vanished off the face of the earth. When he was younger, he wasn't sure what his brother could do. But the simple fact that Naruto became a genin at age 8 was enough for Shikamaru to idolize him. After digging through the library and interrogating his parents on his brother's abilities, because he only knew that Naruto was a force to be reckoned with, he was finally able to piece together what Naruto has been doing for the past 10 years. But he did not know where he was. Naruto Nara was a ninja that specialized in espionage, infiltration, burglary. kidnapping and assassinations. The high A-rank section of Konoha reported all the ninjas there. Despite being an unranked jonin like Jiraiya, one of the Sanins, and Kurama Haim, the current head of the Kurama clan, Naruto's name was listed there. Officially, he was a hunter ninja, but that was just the general term of his specialization, since the Naras are the only handful of clanmates that were recognized as assassins of the highest caliber. To those outside Konoha, he was called Knight. Shikaku Nara spoke highly of how Naruto's famous shadow release bloodline was one that has never been seen before throughout all the clan and might never be seen again. The councilman said that Naruto was able to attack a heavily guarded fortress in broad daylight when the Nara's Genkai's would only be used at night. Yoshino was proud as she said that he got his shadow control from her side of the family, specifically from her. Naruto was a star at hand-to-hand combat, a quick ninjutsu user, and an imaginative genjutsu master, a fast learner, a model shinobi, to even his seniors. With all of these, Shikamaru refused to believe that Naruto was killed on a mission. According to the Hokage's record, he had performed more than 50 A-rank ninjas and more than a dozen mid-S-rank ninjas solo, and then he just disappeared from this one mission. That is why Shikamaru summarized that his brother was on a long-term mission that was given to him by the Fire Daimyo, as he hoped that he was right. Time skip. Thousands of miles away, on the other side of the Western Wall, Kirisuka, capital of the Western Empire, there were rumors that the Western Empire was rallying its forces to take over the other side of the Elemental Nation. His job was to investigate these rumors and cut down the forces that threatened the other side of the wall. He requested to do that alone, fearing that if he brought a team with them, he would be able to bear their losses. But the consequences was, in doing so, he had to spend a long period away from his family. He clenched his fist and shook thought out of his head. This was the last part of his mission. Going off his calculations, he needed to focus. Everything that he did, every mission he went on, every life that he ended, he did it for them. He wanted his family safe, and that was more important than anything. The second part of the mission for the night was to raise hell in the Western Empire by assassinating major figureheads of the society, cleaving the army in half and destroying resources from them. This was to strike fear in the hearts of the Eastern Empire that the Western side was a capable force able to wipe them out. The mission was sanctioned by the Fire Country, the Water Country, the Wind Country, the Earth Country, and Lightning Country. All of the daimyos had came to him personally, as they pleaded to him to make sure an invasion never occurred. The last thing they wanted was the world to go into a full-scale war. There was already the threat of the Akatsuki wreaking havoc, but he entrusted his comrades to deal with them while he ended the potential Western invasion before it even began. At least his family and Konoha were being compensated by all 5 countries at the same time. His contacts had made sure of that. To the Western Empire, the Knight was an infamous Eastern shinobi who has been crippling them the moment he set foot on their side of the wall. Naruto was wearing a half-face mask that hid the bottom half of his face. He never hid his intention, as he warned them to cease their plan of invasion. First, he attacked a major food source of the empire and ended all life there. The only ones that he allowed to escape was the menial workers. The other unfortunate people had their blood soaked into the soil after this. He razed the crops down to the ground, and he left a letter for the emperor. But the emperor threw away that threat like it was nothing, and he then placed a bounty on the man that is known as a knight. The empire has seen a millennia of wars, and they were unified by the emperor. Only 10 years ago, a ninja like the knight meant nothing to them, except they were so wrong. After hearing about the bounty on his head, Naruto continued his nightly campaign as he assassinated figureheads as he sent them to the emperor, showing the man that there was no wall, no castle, nothing that he couldn't get past. This only resulted to his bounty being increased to 1 billion. But the emperor's stubborn attitude only lasted for a week. Naruto attacked the warmonger resident in the dead of night, his own home turf. He made the man flee from his castle in his brief. Fighting in wars and fighting in the pitch black darkness against a man that is called a knight was 2 different things. Before Naruto knew it, 10 years had passed. The emperor had finally scraped all his plans to attack the east. The last thing to be done was to have a sign agreement from the emperor between him and the knight to show that any attacks over the wall will be treated as an act of war. As Naruto melted out of the shadows as they appear on top of an abandoned building, as he looked directly towards the emperor with empty blue eyes, he was in a black cloak that reached onto his shins, black sandals that left his toes exposed. Under the cloak, if anyone ever lived long enough to see, was a long sleeve shirt with black underpants and a black flap jacket. He had on a face mask with a skull painted on it, a hood thrown over his head, as a few strands of black, as his hair was blonde with the end of it being black, as the black strands could be seen, as he met the gaze of the emperor without flinching, as his cloak rustled in the breeze, as he walked forward, but it never blew away to expose himself completely. The red-haired emperor, decked out in his armor, having an allegiance of warriors behind him, stomped forward towards the knight. They stopped 5 feet away from each other, and the emperor started to prepare himself just in case. As the emperor watched as the knight's shadow detached away from him and came up towards him as it formed a pedestal with a single scroll on top of it, the man refrained from gawking. He has never seen the knight use the ability in bright daylight. He has only heard stories about it, and the fact that he did not even move to use the ability just showed how amazing he was. If he was this strong in the day, how much stronger he would be at night. It was frightening to think about. As Naruto spoke, snapping from his thoughts, "If you don't mind, Lord Emperor." He took the scroll as he carefully read what was in it. The summary of the scroll was, if he attacked the East in any way, then Naruto would come back with an army and obliterate him. As the Emperor believed it, as he signed the scroll, the agreement, even though it was physical and it could be disobeyed, it was just a formality the associate of daimyos from over his side wanting to get before he can say mission complete. The shadow returned back to him as the scroll was sealed inside of it. The West watched as Naruto walked away. As he was gone, he appeared distance away. Now, a few well-placed shadow chain teleportation, and I'll be back within Konoha. I can send the agreement to the fire daimyo from there. His eyes looked towards a tree. The shade of the tree as his shadow shot there, his body shimmering out of existence. The shadow bent from one tree to another, one stone to another, one person to another as it went through their shadows with immense speed, where he appeared right in front of Izumo and Kadetsu, who was gawking at him. Meanwhile, at the Nara compound, the clan head household, despite moving the pictures to the attic, the Nara family and the clan could not remove the memory of Naruto from their minds. People went out of their way to meet up with the clan head family to inquire how they were doing and how they were holding up. At the moment, Yoshino Nara was currently sobbing as she looked at pictures of her lost son, from when he was an infant to when he became a full jonin, as she cradled the pictures, as she cried out loud, as she was certain that she was the only one in the house. Shikaku was out looking after the deers, and Shikamaru was spending his day off with his team instead of usually spending his time investigating Naruto's whereabouts. She had to intimidate him to take a break from his search. To have a life of his own, Naruto would have wanted that for all of them. She was known to be a ball of uncontrollable fire, but at the moment, she mourned for her son. Her heart might not be able to take much more of not knowing where he was. "I'm home." Her eyes bulged out of her sockets as she shot to her feet before she was even aware of it. That voice. Naruto? As she ran, as she stopped at the edge of the stairs as he saw him, as he was hopping on one foot, taking off his sandal, as he placed them in the family shoe rack. Even years away from home, it could not erase the fact that he should remove his shoes before coming in the house. As he stood up straight, Yoshino lunged at him, and Naruto barely prepared himself in time to catch her. Realizing that she wasn't taller than him anymore, she cried into his chest and hugged him with all the strength she had. She then leaned back as she looked at his face, tears pouring down her eyes. As Naruto was paler, he had more shadows under his eyes. His face was leaner than before, and his hair looked even more uncontrollable. He was thinner than she remembered, but also leanly muscle. She looked back to his face as a smile curved on his face. They shared a smile between them, until she remembered that this was her child, who would return after 10 years without a single word. Punches rained down on his chest and over his head as he didn't bother to stop them. As his mother cursed and spat angrily. "Where the hell have you been? Why didn't you tell us you were going? Why didn't you write?" "And why are you so tall?" she said. As that made him chuckle. It made her smile until she frowned back, forcing the smile away. She kept punching and kicking as he tried to lean away, as more tears fell from her eyes. Her attacks became weaker as she fell as he caught her, as he allowed her to cry to her content. "I'm home," he said, as she bobbed her head. "You're home." Just then the door burst open as a clanmate rushed in. The man was shocked that Naruto was standing there, the genius of the Naras. Everyone knew that the Nara clan was a genius clan, and he was given the genius of the Nara title. But there was something important. Asuma Sarutobi is in trouble. "I was sent by Lady Fifth to request that Lord Shikaku aid him. All the other members of the Inoshikacho was being called out to help. He's in the deer ranch," said Yoshino, as Naruto got to his feet, his hands under his cloak. As the man quickly ran off, going towards the deer ranch, as Naruto gave his mother a look. "No, like your father, he needs help." "I just got you back," she yelled. "I'm not losing you again," as she gripped his cloak firmly. Naruto smiled as he placed both hands on her shoulders. "I'm not going anywhere. I'll be back for lunch." She didn't look like she was about to let go of him though, as he sighed. "I'm sorry," he said. She frowned at that as she watched his shadow shot off into another house shadow, and shot off into another, before his whole body just crumbled away and he was gone. "Damn it!" she shouted. Naruto, she screamed, her voice almost shaking the clan compound to the core. There was a small pop to her side, as the sandals that he had left disappear as well. "When you get back here, I'll kill you," Naruto, she shouted. Meanwhile, Team Asuma moved towards where the distress signal was located, where their sensei had said that he was in need of immediate assistance. Each Chunin team had their own network, and they were also connected to the Konoha Chunin communication network. So the only ones that got the signal was Team Asuma and the 5th Hokage. The team jumped from tree to tree branch, silent but worried at the state that their teacher was in. The wind thrashed against them at sheer speed that they were going, as they were focused to get to the Sarutobi in time. As the dense forest opened up to the magnificent sight of the fire temple, Shikamaru felt a feeling whip past him as his eyes caught a shadow disconnect from a tree and shoot to another tree before moving towards a large rock. At the moment, Kakazu removed his fist from the monk's face as he dusted his bloody hands on his cloak, as he turned his gaze towards Hidan Ijashinus, who slashed Asuma across the face, but Asuma raised a strange knife and blocked it as he flared wind chalk from his body, throwing away the frustrating Hidan. Hidan landed a thud as Asuma looked down towards Yujiro. She was sporting a black eye and 2 broken arms, and not to mention she got stabbed in the stomach by her own katana that Kakazu used against her. "Are you okay?" he said, as he looked down towards the off-duty Envoy captain. The woman glared up at him. "What does it look like?" He looked up as his team landed around him, as Ino quickly got to work to heal the woman. Asuma didn't look too good all either, as he had a bad fracture in his leg. The left side of his abdomen was scorched and there was a few scratches here and there. He was tired and exhausted, but his duty as a ninja kept him from falling as he got back up to protect the fire monks. Not that the zombie brothers were unscathed. Kakazu was missing his wing mask, and his Akatsuki sleeve was torn off, while Hidan had multiple slashes across his face and arms. "Ino, I want you to get Yujiro back to Konoha. Choji, cover them, and Shika, I want you to support Choji." But Shikamaru was not listening as he was looking towards a rising shadow that was rising out of the ground, 3 feet ahead of them. The shadow solidified into a human figure as Shikamaru saw the hair as he was shocked. Blonde, with black tips. Wind blew against the cloak, but despite that, they could not see his arms or what was underneath it. They just saw darkness. Hidan raised his blade as he placed on his shoulder as his sight glistened in the morning light. "And who the hell are you supposed to be?" Tall, dark, and fugly, as he chuckled at his own joke. The person did not crack a smile though. Kakazu clenched his fist. "No, you idiot." That's as the man seemed surprised as he shifted into a fighting stance, as the person simply tilted his head. "That's the knight." The corner of Naruto's lips quirked up. "Good. I'm still remembered." As Kakazu looked around at all the smoke and the debris, all the shadows all around, he spread his mask around him quickly. Hidan looked towards him confused. "Who the hell is the knight?" Kakazu shot his gaze towards him. "Have you been living under a rock? The knight is a Konoha assassin." "Is that all? Jeez. I know you are a coward, but this was going a bit too far." "He's a Nara," said Kakazu. as he wondered why Naruto was not doing anything. And as Naruto finally spoke, I don't mean to brag, but as everyone's shadows, including Yujeu, even Kakazu's masks, their shadows ripple, and a dark copy of Naruto rose up behind them. The ones behind him shadows returned back normal, as he could move freely, but the zombie brothers could not. Clones rose up from the shadows of the debris all over, from the smoke shadow, from the wall, from the trees. I now own your shadows. Kakazu strained his body to move. His veins bulge, his eyes widen, as a clone of the night threw open his cloak. Solid arms shot out of the darkness, black arms. As one of them grabbed his shoulder, the other one was holding on to a kunai. The kunai slit his throat with ease, but black threads was the only things that spewed out from the neck of Kakazu. The clone then burst on fire as Kakazu started to howl out in pain. All of the clones that had the masks started to burst into fire as well, as the masks started to crumble and die. As Kakazu crumbled into ashes on the ground, burning away, a cold sweat ran down Hidan's neck as he saw his partner just combust into flames like that. As he struggled to move, but no matter what he did, his shadow, that was now a clone, refused to make him move. One of the shadows from the trees emerged as it walked straight over towards Hidan. As he pulled out his arm, in his hand there was a standard katana blade. As he focused on Hidan's shadow, he moved his hand as he sliced and diced, slicing up the shadow quickly. As he then put back the blade in his arms, going back in his cloak, Hidan's body burst into chunks and pieces. I'll need to do something about your immortality, said Naruto, the real one, as he looked towards Hidan. As he moved towards the ashes of Kakazu and the disassembled body of Hidan, as he ignored all the curses, as they started to seal away parts of Hidan to different scrolls, and each different part of him was stored away into another bigger scroll, and his sight was sealed away as well. All the clones then started to warp as they returned back to what they were, shadows of the debris, the rocks, the trees. The real Naruto smiled. That's that, I guess, as he turned to the Konoha ninjas, as they were all gawking at him. What? Have I got something on my face? He said. Their eyes were wide, their jaws were on the ground, as Naruto's hand came out, as he had a mirror in his hand, as he checked his face, but there was nothing there. His hands and his mirror vanishing. He just took out 2 S-rank, Choji said. And he didn't even lift a finger, Ino said. Her hands were glowing green over the fallen captain. Not that the woman noticed either, as her eyes were focused on the long last Nara. He had come back after 10 long years in the most spectacular way possible. Meanwhile, when Shikamaru got over his jolt of watching his brother take out 2 S-ranks, he was reminded that this was his brother, who went missing after 10 long years. His body shook with fury as he got to his feet. Ino watched as he went towards Nara. Naruto laughed quietly, nervously, and closed his eyes. Now Shika, said Naruto, as he brought up both of his arms, holding them up for him not to do something crazy. Let's not do anything crazy. 10 goddamn years. Shikamaru growled as he stepped towards his brother, his eyes cast in a shadow. Shika, let's calm down, okay? As Naruto started to step backwards. You left for 10 goddamn years. No goodbye, no letter, not even a word from you. For 10 years. As he started to run, he was running directly towards Naruto. As Asuma was surprised to see Shikamaru this angry, all of his rage and anger seemed to be coming out though. But as he pulled his leg back, Asuma realized what he was about to do. Shikamaru, no, he said, as that would be the worstest pain possible. Crunch! As he kicked Naruto right in the crotch. As Naruto screamed, it echoed loud and wide as all men felt the pain even though it didn't happen to them. Back in Konoha, an angry Yoshino who was washing dishes for lunch paused to hear the scream of her eldest son. A bright smile came to her as the world suddenly seemed brighter. Her son was back and he got his punishment for leaving. No doubt it was from Shikamaru. All was right in the world for now. Meanwhile, as Naruto collapsed to the ground into a fetal position, as a fuming Shikamaru was standing there, the others behind him all winced in pain, as they all shuddered at shameful cries that came from Naruto on the ground, as it was so bad that he passed out. 10 minutes later, he woke up, as he was in a room. The ceiling was speckled with stars, drawn on it. A bright shade of blue painted on the wall. A bed, a large wardrobe, a connecting bathroom. He tried to stand up, but an invisible force kept him in place. As he sighed from his aching privates, as he looked over to his right and said, "Dad, no need to break out of the hole just yet." Shikaku Nara has been sitting right there ever since Naruto had been dropped off. Not even after a moment that his son was dropped off had he captured him in his shadow, and he ordered everyone to leave, even Yoshino. As Naruto looked up towards his father, as the man had a few grey streaks in his hair, his face sagged tiredly, his shoulders sagged a bit. "Naruto," he said, "Look, I'm sorry. Do you know how worried we were? We thought that you were dead," said Shikaku. "You made your mother cry. Do you know that?" He and Yoshino may have a unique relationship, but he still loved her. As he glared at Naruto to keep him from not answering the rhetorical question, "You have 5 seconds to explain yourself, and if I don't like what I hear, I will not hesitate to kick you out of the clan." Dad, 1. The West was planning to invade our side of the wall. As Shikaku's eyes squinted, "Why didn't you send letters back? The seals, the Sage of Six Paths, placed on the wall, stop any communication from coming over. Even if I had sent a messenger hawk back, it would turn into stone as soon as it flew over the wall," said Naruto. "Then why didn't you tell us, dear family, that you'll be gone for a while?" "This will take a few minutes," said Naruto. "You have 3 minutes. As Naruto began, "I wanted to quickly survey what was happening in the West, just to see if there was really an invasion being planned. And when I found out that it was true, when I tried to report back, I could not pass the wall because my body was covered in Western chakra, and the wall did not let me pass." "Then using that same logic, how did you get past the wall to the west in the first place?" said Shikaku. "Well, you see, when I first tried to get past the wall, he didn't let me, because I have Eastern chakra. So I suppressed my chakra and squeezed it all to my ankle, and let me pass. Perhaps it was the oddity of the position where the chakra was, and the less amount. I can suppress my own chakra, but I cannot suppress foreign chakra." He had made sure when he was coming back that he had not got too contaminated in the chakra over there, and he was able to pass through. "You could have taken a small break from forwarding the invasion to see us," said Shikaku, as his anger was seeping out and thinning away. As Naruto could see that, and he felt the shadow on him slacken, but he did not break out. "I wanted to, I really wanted to, but after a few months, the Westerners, smart and resourceful people, might have added and filled out the point in the wall that I had snuck in through, and sealed it off, so only they could pass, but only if they got the Western chakra off of them." "How did you return then?" "The Emperor was kind enough to allow a small hole for me to slide through. He implied that the wall was not in good shape, and there was a way for me to get through. He didn't want to occur another night situation." "So you're saying that the wall was in bad shape? Wasn't it created by the sage?" "Yes, but that was over 1,000 years ago. The wall has to deteriorate at a point," said Naruto, as he felt the hold on him loosen as he sat up in the bed. "I'm sorry for just running away like that. I swear, it won't happen again." As the man stared into his son's eyes, before this sleepy look came on his face, the look that Naruto always remembered, as he made Naruto remember when they were tracking deers that ran away, and then they would just wake up from a nap not knowing when they had fallen asleep. When Naruto became a children and too grown to actively nap in a random time of the day, Shikaku continued the tradition along with Shikamaru, while regularly playing shogi with Naruto and Shikamaru. It was his way of bonding with them. "Just remember, Naruto," he said, as he grabbed his son by the neck. His eyes darkened evilly, and the shadow loomed over them. He spoke in a deep, terrifying voice. "If you ever disappear again, I will track you down and strangle you with your own smaller intestine. Do you understand me?" "Crystal clear," said Naruto, as the both of them looked at each other before they burst out laughing. The reason is, as Shikaku was trying to imitate his wife, and Naruto was playing along. As the laughter died out, until Shikaku spoke, his voice lazy to show that he was not really joking, it seems. "But seriously, Naruto, if you do that again, I'll kill you," he said. As Naruto laughed quietly, pushing down the fear of the lazy way his father threatened to end his existence. "Well, I'll take you down with me," said Naruto. "That's what she said," said Shikaku. As Naruto fell back, as the mood suddenly died. "I think I'm gonna be sick," he said. Just imagining the thought of his parents, it just made him cringe. "Oh, stop being so dramatic. You're 25 now, right? I can talk to you about these sort of things now. We can even have a round of steak with the guys and reminisce adventures of the bedroom, as he threw his arms around his son, who was the same height as him now, as they began walking into the room and down the stairs. I don't want to hear about you and mom's sex life, said Naruto, as they start to approach the table where a spread of sandwiches and tea could be seen. Shikaku waved his concern away as he sat at the head of the table. As Naruto sat to his left, Yoshino sat to the right, and Shikamaru sat beside his mother. As Shikamaru was glaring at him. We'll be going for a few drinks tonight. You better be ready, said Shikaku, as Naruto took a sandwich and bit into it. As Naruto melted in a chair. This is heaven in bread, he said, as he realized the last time he ate was about a week ago, and he was not eating something heavy. As he started to shovel the sandwiches into his mouth, as his stomach took them easily. This is delicious, he said as he threw food after food in his mouth. Honey, take it easy, said Yoshino as he started to scoff the food into his mouth, as his mouth was full as he had to chew now. Have some water, she said, as she poured him out of the jug in the cup. He nodded his thanks to her as he gulped down the water, as he flushed down everything. Ah, he said as he patted his stomach. So what do you plan to do from here? I was thinking of leaving active shinobi duty for a year or two. To rest up, he said, as he smiled at his brother who was still sulking angrily. How's being at Chunin treating you, Shika, he said. Swell, said Shikamaru. I bet you're getting all the girls now, huh? No. Oh, that's okay. I can show you some moves that will definitely... Can I be excused? As Shikamaru pushed away from the table and got up, as Shikaku looked toward the scene sadly. Before, Naruto was Shikamaru's world. He would always wait at the door waiting for his brother to come back, hugged him every single time, as he would be one of the first to run into his room in the early morning to tell him about his dream. He could still see the little boy trapped behind the cold eyes of his son right now. But his son was too angry. Where do you want to go? To Suzu Place, said Shikamaru as he moved towards the door. As that name rang a bell in Naruto's mind, it was Akabich and Julie. As he got to his feet as well. I'll come with you. It wasn't that he didn't trust the girl. He knew her parents and their student very well, and he had trust in the Hokage sealed work. But he just wanted to fix things with his brother. Don't bother, Shikamaru said, as he slammed the door shut. He needed to clear his head. And Suzui was the Maki place or the greatest place to do that. As Naruto's hand fell to his sides, the couple looked towards their quiet son, and shared a glance between themselves, as a regretful look came on Naruto's face. Naruto, said Yoshino, you need to give him some time. He has been looking for you since the day that you left. As Naruto felt his spirits dropped even more, how about you go and say hi to your friends? It has been a while, hasn't it? As he gave them a smile. Thanks, I will. Don't forget, give Shikai space. When he's ready to hear you out, he will, me to himself, said Shikaku. Of course, said Naruto, as he bowed. Thank you for forgiving me, Dad, Mom. The couple then realized how weathered and old they must look to their son. The both of them were in their mid-40s, but waiting for their son to come home had taken a few years away from them. But they gave him encouraging smiles. Just don't mess it up, his father said as his mother nodded in agreement. As Naruto nodded as he made his way towards the door. Do you want me to get you anything from the store, he asked. I have some money with me. Some money was a big understatement. He had stolen gold from every western on his hit list. All he had to do was change them for you and store them in his bank account. We're out of cereal and sugar. Any kind of cereal will be fine, said Yoshino. I'll be back for dinner, said Naruto as he left. His first place to go was to see the fifth Hokage. Meanwhile, at the Blue, Swirling Leaf Cafe, it was a place where both shinobis and siblings could go, relax, to great service, tea, and they were also able to get breakfast or lunch if they wanted. It was a hotspot of activity because 3 clan heirs and the Jinjulki of the Nine Tails had come together after the Sonnenstein invasion, and Suzui proposed the idea of the cafe as a place that the Konoha 9 and Team Guy, as well as any other person, could go to relax after a hard, expectant day. The cafe was built into a clear-out section of the forest that had been bought by the Uzumaki from her inheritance money, and the construction was simple enough, with Shino handling the planning, and Hinata and Ino handling the promotion of the cafe even before it was built, and the other Genins. They didn't need to employ help because Suzui, or Suzu, as her friends call her that as a nickname, was able to create over 100 clones. As Shino pointed out what they were to do and where they were to work, the place was referred to as Suzu Place because she was the first one to pitch the idea and the other three want to give her credit. There were chairs and tables outside though for those who prefer natural light, but there was umbrellas for shades. The place was helped by a few Konoha Genins who want to help their friend as well. After all, she could do so much without the backlash of dispelling so much clone information. Shino was the manager and accountant, Ino was the decorator, Hinata was the cook, and Suzu was in charge of general maintenance and security of the place, a position that she was very proud of. The place was always filled with people. It was easy to overlook that the key beholder was amongst the founders of the cafe. Service was good and food was great. Sometimes Suzu stayed in an apartment that was close to the cafe. That is why mostly it was called Suzu's place. Shika, how's it going? The place was filled with people all around. It was a season that tea was not too well purchased, but ice cream, because of the hot weather, really cooled people down. As Suzu saw the sad expression on Shikamaru's face as she ushered him to sit down at their spot, a place that only them and Team Guy was able to sit. As she went to the kitchen and come back with a blue, swirling ice cream, she waved her hand. It's on the house, she said. He gave an appreciative look as Hinata came out and sat with them. There weren't any new customers to worry about. What's wrong? Said Hinata. The girl used to be a lot shyer, but she was getting more and more confident from having her cooking and baking skills praised by the people. But the constant problem of her father putting her down was slowing things a bit. As he scooped my big brother's back as he placed a spoon in his mouth. The two of them looked at each other before. Their eyes widened a bit. You mean your night guy, brother, Naruto, was it? As Shikamaru nodded towards Suzu's question. The girl was a good listener, and she could pick things up rather quickly, as she was a good sensor, as she wore a battle kimono whenever she was ready for a battle. Her weapon of choice was a single-edged deep red blade that was sheathed over her shoulder, but now she was off duty as she was wearing a spiral shirt, blue, and black shorts. She was a very smart girl, but anytime her friends told her to take credit for something, she always blushed and get a bit nervous, her facade crumbling. Then what are you doing here, genius? Go hang out with him. But she saw Shikamaru frown. Hinata gave her a kick on the leg as she closed her mouth. What's wrong? As Shikamaru confided in them. Meanwhile, Hokage's tower. As Naruto ran his hand through his hair, he made sure his cloak was straight. As he knocked. Yes. As he pushed open the door and walked in, its bright blue eyes focused on the leader of the village, the ever so suicidal Tsunade Senju. The corner of her lips quirked up a bit as she raised the eyebrow at him, as she waved a hand for her guards to leave the room. So, you're not dead. She regarded him with a flick of her eyes, from his black sandals going straight up to his black split ends. She had to admit he had grown up, from a 13-year-old brat who constantly kept on asking her out back then, to a pasty-faced man. Rumors of my death had been greatly exaggerated. As he kicked the door closed behind him with his heel, he took a seat as the cloak that he was wearing melted off his body and melted right into his shadow. She raised her eyebrow at that. She would ask him later. She dropped her pen and leaned back. So where have you been, Brett? I was worried sick. As he leaned back in the chair. I was looking for the meaning of love, my fair lady. Her eye twitched. This is no time for jokes. The village has been in dire need of your peculiar abilities. Shh, said Naruto, as her eye twitched even more. There's no need to lie, my lady. I know you miss me. Let's just cut to the chase. Yes, I will go out with you. I will handle dinner reservation. Yes, I can come and pick you up. And maybe we can have a little extra after everything is done. He ended with a little waggle of his eyebrows. It made her remember when he was younger. Back then, after sadly reporting to Sned that her lover Dan had been killed on the front lines on a poorly ranked mission, he became terribly forward with his intentions of dating her. It was like Dan had chosen Naruto to look after her, and it seems like he thought that that should mean replacing him as her lover. Since then he tried everything, but all was in vain. As her body shook in anger before she calmed down, as she smiled, of course, but don't bother picking me up, I'll meet you there. As he saw that glint in her eye, but he was taken aback as he got up, before sitting back down. Yeah, he said. The Flower, Gale Restaurant, tomorrow. It's a date, she said. But, as she leaned forward, causing him to lean forward as well. But, said Naruto, as her finger draws circles on her document in front of her. As he glanced down, there's something I wanted to do first. Anything, I mean yes. He said in a deep voice at the end. I need you to go on this high S-rank mission. But he was snapped out of his daze. Let me stop you right there. I actually came to inform you that I'll be going on a break. For about 2 years off duty. Wait, what? She said. Her features turned back normal. I said I want to stop active duty for 2 years. I think I deserve it. Just ask Lord Daimyo. What do you mean, ask Lord Daimyo? I'm your commanding officer. He doesn't have control over my shinobis. Unless it is a matter of grave importance, the Fire Daimyo can ask a shinobi of the Hidden Leaf, without consent from the Hokage, to go and perform a mission. As neither knew that was true, it was in the charters. He asked me to go on a secret mission to the Western Empire to stop a planning invasion. It was a secret because if word got out that if a superpower like the Emperor wanted to invade us, it would have thrown the East into mass chaos. And the Akatsuki will pick off the Jinjulkis if they serve her. In the mass chaos, she thought to herself. The SRN group had appeared 2 years ago after they tried to kidnap the 90th Jinjulki in her personal training session with Yujeo. Itachi had taken out Yujeo with a powerful illusion, and Kisame had drained the girl of all of her chakra. A few academy students had seen this, and they had fled Telepath and Jonin, and they were able to recover her. If not for them, they would have lost the 9 tails and the girl completely. I know that this is not the best time, Lady Snavy, he said, cutting her off, as he got to his feet. I made the mistake of leaving for 10 years. I won't make it again. As he turned his back, but she shot up to her feet. Naruto, as your commanding officer, I order you to take this mission. As he glanced towards her with a small smile on his face, his hand came out of his cloak as he was holding onto his headband. You know what happened if I drop this? He would permanently retire from the shinobi force and become a civilian. It was something that he did not mind, but it was something that she would regret if it happened. He could be seen as a modest guy, but him retiring would be a setback for Konoha. Naruto, please don't do this, she said. Then don't let me do it, Lady Snavy, he said. She sat back down. I'm gonna be straight with you, Naruto. Jiraiya just left to the Hidden Rain for a mission, and something inside me is telling me that he won't come back. I'm begging you, please. Not as your Hokage, but as your friend. Please shadow him and make sure he come back. As Naruto finally turned to face her, why me? Why not Guy or Kakashi, Uncle, someone else? Because you're the only one I trust to get this job done. The only one I know that can do it. As Naruto's eyes focus on the woman. But guys, be and subscribe right here. If you want to see the next person do, like, subscribe, comment down below, and turn on that bell notifications they posted. Remember to share to all of your friends in social media platform. And also guys, remember to go ahead and check out the brand new series over on Anime King 3 of What If Naruto had the most powerful Sharingan, and enjoy that guys over in Anime King 3. Yes, brand new series. But that is not alone guys. I've also posted a brand new series over in Anime King 2 of What If Naruto at his strongest was sent to a alternate timeline. So go ahead and check out that and enjoy guys. And remember, for anyone this is the first time hearing my voice, go ahead and click that red subscribe button and become part of the Anime King family. And thank you for all of your help and support. Remember to comment down below and tell me if you're new. I'll be replying talking back to all of you. So yeah, without further ado, I'm out for now. See you guys soon. Peace.